Yo, what's up, guys? All right, so today I'm going to be talking about how to recommit to recovery after relapse. This is a thing I see happen with a lot of folks, and I did it myself. Is that we relapse and then we kind of catastrophize, and it's oh my gosh, it's all over. I'm back to where I was, back to square one. And instead of like being like, okay, like what can I learn from this? How can I improve this process and maybe prevent a relapse next time? I'm just going to spiral down and start using every day again. I'm going to start, letting go of all the habits that I've been working to accomplish. And so this is a really important thing to catch, especially if you've relapsed and you're starting to find yourself slip back into that cycle of addiction and using. What you want to do is to be able to recognize that, okay, I've slipped and my mind is starting to spiral a little bit. Again, a lot of people, they sense that this is going to happen. Like they have their slip and they're like, oh my gosh, like it's all over. So what we can do to prevent this is, one, of course, as I always say, get out the journal, start writing about it, start, really identifying, okay, where did I don't want to say go wrong, but where did I lose focus? Because a lot of you guys, like you'll get to like 6 days sober, 7 days sober, like a week sober. And it's like, oh my gosh, like I'm doing it. I'm finally doing it. But then again, we'll slip back because there's almost like a sense of like, okay, now I get to celebrate. I've made it this far. And the only, habit we've known to celebrate with is, using weed in the past. So finding new ways to celebrate victories is going to be really important. I was talking about this with somebody I'm consulting the other day, about a week ago. And we were talking about how they made it to like 6 days, and to finally feel that relaxation and relief, they decided to use. And then they were back at square one, and they're like, oh man, like I messed up. I'm back where I was. And we really focus on what are some things you can do to reward yourself and to give yourself a break from the work that isn't going to, spiral you downwards or set you back and have you restart your day count, etc. Things for me are like I watch a movie. Right? I let myself watch some YouTube videos or something like that. Maybe I'll go have a cheat day where I get to eat whatever I want. And then, of course, I'm back on the horse the next day. But giving myself that permission in a way to let myself have some fun is a really important step in the process for me. And it allows me to have something to work towards, like have a reward at the end of the week that I get to actually enjoy. I think there is something said to working really hard and to putting all our focus into something. However, it can turn into workaholism, work addiction. And this is something that I've experienced before. Like I couldn't stop working. Like I had to be improving, had to be grinding, had to be self-developing. And I kind of became a bit neurotic because I was like, oh my God, if this is anything that involves pleasure, like, oh, I can't do it. Like the only pleasure I can feel is after a hard day's work, blah, blah, blah. And 6 out of the 7 days a week, I'm going to abide by that philosophy full send. Right? I'm going to make sure that I'm working hard, and then the joy and pleasure I get to experience comes from after that. For 1 day a week, though, I want to give myself a break. I want to turn my mind off. I want to shut it off and allow myself to rest and recharge mentally, spiritually, emotionally, physically. For me, and again, for me doing that involves like watching TV or eating some junk food or something like that. So find something for yourself that you can do that's going to give yourself that relief, but isn't going to make you want to just use weed all the time, right? Because kind of what I think a lot of you are realizing is that all it takes is one puff, one hit of the joint, and you're back to, that spiral of addiction. And really the name of the game is like, hey, we don't have to do everything perfect, but the only thing we have to do perfect is not use and not pick up. That's it. If you can do that, you're going to be smooth sailing. And I've had to commit to that every single day for the last, 8 years and a month, is saying like, okay, today I'm not going to use. Today I'm not going to use. Today I'm not going to use. And you get the picture. And I've done that so many days that it's stacked and compounded on top of each other. And now today I can say that I haven't used in X amount of years. Sometimes I've like gone to a club and like I'll get a big sniff of weed. And I'm like, has that gotten into my system? I don't count that because it wasn't intentional. And then if I do smell it, I like hold my breath real quick and like sprint off somewhere where there's, not going to be weed or the smell of weed. So anyway, guys, like this, my invitation to you today is to really ask yourself, like, if I slip, if I mess up my progress so to say. Do I spiral? Do I allow myself to, freak out and go all the way back to square one and basically lose my shit? And if the answer is yes, hey, that's okay. You're being aware of it. Awareness is step one. You're seeing your patterns and your, habits and stuff. Now, what can you do going forward is to start to catch it. So start to catch that mind slip of like, okay, man, like, well, I use, so I might as well just use all day, every day again. How can we catch ourselves and then get back on the wagon as fast as possible, right? That, all right, I had a day, I smoked weed, I had some fun, maybe I didn't have some fun, but now let's just pretend like that didn't happen. I mean, it did happen, but like, let's pretend we're back on the, the wagon. I'm motivated again. I'm going to commit the way I did before I slipped. And I'm just going to have to restart my day count. Yep, that's going to suck. And the first couple of days are going to maybe be a little painful. There might be some withdrawals. And I might not be as happy as I was a few days ago when I was on day 5, 4, 5, 6 or whatever. But I can't get back there. And I'm realizing that, okay, this is the pattern. Anytime I use, the consequence is that I'm going to feel kind of crappy for 2 days. So eventually what happens is that you realize, hey, I just don't want to feel crappy anymore. Like, I'm just not going to use. And that's really when people start to be sober forever for the rest of their lives, basically. So your work is getting to that point where you can finally say, it ain't worth having a little puff to reset all the hard work I'm doing and kill these good feelings I'm feeling. I want to be happy. I want to feel alive. I want to feel free. And the way I'm going to be able to do this is to stay off weed. So with that, guys, I hope this video can help you and give you some insight and some motivation if you've slipped back and you're feeling a bit of shame, guilt about it. Know that relapse is a part of the process. It's a part of the journey. And each time you relapse, you get a little stronger and you become better at saying no next time you want to slip, right? So with that, guys, we'll talk to you soon. Peace.